of the first topic that we went through, which would be the losers so far of free agency. All right, uh, losers of free agency. We have a few of them. All right, so far, and again, some of this is just based off this first 2 days, right? Some of these guys have had to get released, and some there's been some trades and those kind of things. And some of these are kind of speculations on seeing where exactly this will go. Right? I'll give you an example here. My first one, um, the biggest loser I feel like of the day was Justin Fields and the Bears. Right? Which they did make some moves. They also did pick up who was they actually picked up oh, they picked up Jonathan Owens, which I wanted the Packers to re-sign. So that was a good pickup for the Chicago Bears, getting the safety Jonathan Owens, there. But essentially, in the last couple days, you had Russell Wilson go to one of the possible trade targets for the Chicago Bears, right? And go to the Pittsburgh Steelers. And you had Kirk Cousins sign with the Atlanta Falcons, which is Justin Fields' hometown. So that was essentially where Justin Fields was trying to get to the most. Right. A lot of people thought Justin Fields, again, with that offensive line and those chess pieces they have on the offensive skill positions, would have been a really good duo as well there. So Justin Fields all of a sudden looking around, some people even thought Tampa Bay possibly as another option, but Baker Mayfield gets re-signed by the Buccaneers. A whole bunch of, I mean, the Raiders also went and get the Raiders, like I talked about earlier, picked up Gardner Minshew. Could they still go for Justin Fields? Sure, they could. The Browns also got a backup. The Patriots got Jacoby Brissett. The Jaguars even got another backup. And Mac Jones making a trade there. So, anyways, a lot of the different places that you would think that Justin Fields could have either gone to, or those teams might be willing to trade for Justin Fields or something like that, kind of got filled up, right? And so for Justin Fields, who I feel like has been a little bit kind of playing his card to get out of Chicago, all of a sudden now might be stuck there, or might end up getting traded to the situation that he doesn't maybe necessarily want to go to. Or could he go to some place for a much lower amount than what it was going to be, maybe had a trade been made, previously, right? And this is why I say the Chicago Bears are also the other big losers with this, right? Because if they were able to pull off the trigger sooner, they might have been able to beat to the punch all these different signs that went through, and been able to leverage these different teams against each other for higher draft picks, higher compensation for Justin Fields. That's essentially what the Bears are going for, right? Bears, it looks like, are all in on Caleb Williams, going with that number one pick. And so you try to trade away Justin Fields and get as much compensation as you can possibly get for him, sending him off the other way. And now the Chicago Bears are going to be sitting there looking around the league and saying, who can we still trade this guy to? Who would still be interested in giving us top dollar for this guy? And who are they bidding against? Even if there's one team, or if there's two teams. I mean, there's no longer 5 to 8 teams that could have been looking for Justin Fields like there was a day or two ago, right? So I think the Chicago Bears really kind of lost out there. And I said last week, what if the Chicago Bears paid $1.2 million to Russell Wilson, bring him in, trade away Justin Fields to the Pittsburgh Steelers? Let's say you get a bunch of picks back from the Steelers for trading Justin Fields over there to him, and then you also trade away the Caleb Williams number one pick, or you still sign Caleb Williams with that number one pick, and you bring him up behind Russell Wilson because you're only paying Russell Wilson 1.2, right? Either way, you would have had one more team out there who still needed a quarterback in the Pittsburgh Steelers that you could have traded Justin Fields to, and possibly made that happen. And you would have had Russell Wilson starting there for $1.2 million. So I feel like they really lost out there on their opportunity. They could have really kind of swung some things there with that, and kind of turned around their whole franchise for a while here. Besides the Chicago Bears, some other ones maybe not as big, but the Dolphins and the Jaguars. I feel like the Dolphins really lost out on a lot of players today. They also did do some signings over the last day or two, but they really got picked apart by I think they had what 3 or 4 defensive players, an offensive lineman as well. They had a number of players go around the league so far from the Dolphins, and they had one. They did have one pretty good sign. I can't remember who it was not right now. They did sign somebody. If anybody knows who it is, go and throw it up in the chat. But they were able to get somebody on there from free agency here in this last day or two. But they got picked apart pretty good. The Jaguars. I'm not sure exactly what the Jaguars are really doing with their moves. They traded for Mac Jones, right? And so the Jaguars already have a veteran QB as a backup there behind Trevor Lawrence, and so now they bring in Mac Jones to do what? Compete against Trevor Lawrence to be the third string backup to. I mean, Trevor Lawrence isn't really learning anything from Mac Jones, right? So is this to add pressure to Trevor Lawrence? Are the Jaguars thinking maybe Trevor Lawrence is not our future before we give him a $200 million contract for years? Do we bring in somebody to compete against him, or you know, worst case scenario where Trevor Lawrence is, of course, if he's injured, but you'd probably go to that second string backup. Um, but could he end up making his way up and overtaking Trevor Lawrence? I don't think anybody is thinking that about Mac Jones overtaking Trevor Lawrence, but I'm not really sure what the need is here to bring him in and pay him money and trade away picks for Mac Jones, right? And then they also they did have a nice signing with getting Darnell Savage, one of the safeties from the Green Bay Packers. But besides that, they overspent on a lot of picks, a lot of players, and some trades as well for the Jacksonville Jaguars. So it's not exactly like a horrible day, but as far as the losers of these first 2 days ago, I would put the Jaguars probably third behind the Bears and Dolphins. But maybe this team actually leapfrogs them. The team that's supposed to be all in, the team that's supposed to be America's team, the Cowboys that have talked about being all in this whole off season, have so far made no moves. And Tony Pollard just left, and they haven't filled in that need yet. And what we just had, let's see, I'm trying to think of here. I think what the top 5, 6, 7 running backs in free agency. One of them was just released and then signed. Just all got snagged here in the last 2 days. Aaron Jones is from the Dallas area. Carves up the Dallas Cowboys every year when he plays against them. Would have been a perfect fit probably for Aaron Jones actually to go to the Dallas Cowboys. Especially, I think what they're paying him $7 million a year for the Vikings. So for the Cowboys to do nothing so far, when they do have some holes to fill on the defensive side and some spots they could also do something with on the offensive side, I do believe they can maybe get like a third receiver. I don't think they're as bad as on the receiving core as some others do think, but um, they needed running back. I think their offensive line has gotten banged up a little bit in the last couple of years. So they can maybe do something there on the offensive line side, but probably mostly on the defensive side. And they haven't gotten anyone. So, anyways, I just find it funny mainly because the Dallas Cowboys talk about how they are all in on this next season. Now, I do think some of that is Jerry Jones and Dallas Cowboys saying that they're all in because they're not re-signing Dak, and so they're essentially betting on themselves, I guess, slash pressuring Dak into saying, "Okay, you want this next big contract, you're gonna have to play excellent this next year, and if you do play amazing this next year, and let's say the Dallas Cowboys, let's say Dak wins MVP and then wins the Super Bowl and Super Bowl MVP, well, Dak's gonna ask for all kinds of money, right?" Which means that either they're going to have to start releasing a whole bunch of players, restructuring people, trying to re-sign Dak or he's gone. So I think that's more what the Dallas Cowboys mean by this is their all in year, because they know if Dak really has that kind of a year and wins it all and is that good, the amount of money they're gonna have to spend to keep him, this will be their last year before they're gonna have to tear a lot of things down. Right. And if he's not great, they could re-sign him maybe. Um, I could definitely see that happening, but then all of a sudden they're re-signing him for 40 to 50 million a year instead of like the new going rate for the top quarterback, which if Dak won MVP and Super Bowl MVP and all those kind of things there, he would be asking for 60 or 65. You might be able to get him for 45 or 50, but you're limiting yourself and you're saying, okay, we're all in again now with Dak, who another year of not winning it when we said we were all in. So I think that's an interesting move for the Dallas Cowboys, and we'll see where that goes. Right. So um, that really leads me into my last kind of thing here of the day. This is something I'll change up from day to day when I do the podcast. Thank you guys so much for listening to the podcast here today. Again, make sure you like and subscribe to the channel. My last segment of the day, sounding off, right? Sounding off. I, Mr.SoundOff, want to know. Can't wait to see, and I'm curious what you all think the next moves will be in the NFL. So if you're not here live on this, again, I will end up chopping up some of this video here and putting out different segments onto YouTube and different clips, as well as on Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, all those kind of things there as well, right? But reach out to me. Let me know if you leave a comment down below, or if you send me a message, please do, and let me know where do you think. What do you think about the moves that have been made so far? What do you guys think that some of these moves that are made so far are going to translate into tomorrow or the next couple of days? This has only been the first 2 days of free agency, and it's not even official until tomorrow again, right? So tomorrow being the first official day of free agency, I can't wait to see where that goes to, and we'll have to see here exactly how much reaction there is to some of the moves that were made today off this of the moves that were made today and yesterday. Some different trades that were made. Will there be overreaction from some teams? Other teams that have a plan that are going for this so the whole way, that knew maybe some of these cards are going to fall this way, and then also where some of these moves might affect your team in this next season. And before we get to the next season, in the NFL draft, I brought it up last week for the Green Bay Packers as an example, who needed a safety, right? A lot of people were talking about DeGene out of Iowa as being their number one pick in the first round as a safety. Well, now they just got the best safety free agent in the draft. So do they still need another still need another safety? Absolutely. I wish they would have kept Darnell Savage as their second safety and then gotten McGinney as well. I thought that would have been a great tandem, and Savage wasn't requiring a whole lot of money, all right, as far as his salary goes. But still, they can go for that. Or now maybe they get a safety, but in the third or fourth round or something like that, because they don't need that safety to be their top guy because they already got one in this, right? So now the Packers can go somewhere else with that number one pick. So sound off. Let me know what you guys think there in the comments. Reach out, please. And thank you again to our different sponsors of the day, to our surf companies. All right, we got Moondoggies here. That's one of my favorites. It's been that way for a long time, and always love the golfing companies as well. All right, Live Lucky. All right, so golf companies, surfing companies, the band stuff. Keep it coming. I'd love to hear you guys' feedback on the show here so far, and I will be coming out with another episode. It should be on this Thursday. So for now, I'm going to be trying to do it every Tuesday and Thursdays for Mr. Sound Off. And for that, this is Mr. Sound Off sounding off. Thank you, everyone. Have a good night.